Well, while you do that, let's all try to guess the drugs that Nicki Minaj is on.
I would like to know. She might be the plug.
Well, we've all done a lot of drugs, so we can get to the bottom of this pretty quickly.
That's
Somebody should watch her usage.
And who's filming her while usage is happening.
Yeah, you shouldn't film yourself high.
Nicki Minaj is 100% on something.
Wait, but you talk about the video with her opening up the presents?
That was confirmation for me, but I was already on that. I've been on this, though. I've said this on this podcast a bunch because Meek talked about it.
Oh, he did.
Meek talked about him being hooked on pills when he was with her. And the uphill battle it was for him to get off.
You know, she's even mentioned it, though.
I know that battle all too well. It's really, really tough to get off of pills. So I'm not trying to be funny here. Anybody that knows my history knows I'm definitely not trying to be funny. I really think that somebody should intervene.
Yeah.
Like, I think that it's getting progressively worse. Now, so let's talk about a story that broke, that kind of broke, right? Did y'all see the DM? The DM?
I did.
Savon, find that DM for me. Let's get into that. There's some backstory there that I'm not all too familiar with. Apparently, that young lady used to intern.
No, she was a current intern writer for Karen's website.
For Karen's website.
So
Got it.
How I heard it, she wasn't, because Karen has a bunch of different ventures. She's not part of whatever the company Karen does that consults or manages or whatever she does for Nicki Minaj. She specifically writes for the Karen Civil site, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Still, though?
Well, she was thus fired.
And however she was fired, there's an NDA involved.
I'm sure.
Well, she said it. She said there's an NDA involved, and I'm not allowed to speak on it.
Well, of course you're all entitled to your opinion, but if I'm working for somebody that has Nicki Minaj as a client, and my job is not to be the opinionated person, yeah, have some cool.
Yeah.
Just don't hit send on that tweet.
Right.
Put it in your group chat.
Right.
Now, if you're the opinionated writer on KarenCivil.com and everyone's looking for you to give the real opinion,
Rory, that's not right. You can't say that. If you're not the opinionated person, then you can't say your opinion on Twitter.
Because now you're
because
entering.
It's without class.
No. I thought she said something classy. I didn't
Well,
think it was
here's
a
what
bad.
she said.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad
for the
thing.
people that
and I
are
agree
unaware,
with what she said.
What she said was, you know how dope it would be if Nicki put out mature content? ? No silly shit. Just reflecting on past relationships, being a boss, hardships, etc. She's touching 40 soon. A new direction is needed. Period.
That's not that.
That's the end of what this young lady said.
I agree with her, and I don't think it's bad. But if you're working for someone that represents Nicki Minaj, I might hold that tweet down.
But I don't, and that's where the confusion comes for me. I'm not certain that she was working for Nicki Minaj when this was tweeted, or Karen, or that site, or anything.
I think it's public knowledge that Karen and Nicki, at minimum, have an extremely good relationship, and Karen helps out with Nicki in her team.
I'm
and her
saying
circle.
I don't think this young lady worked for Karen's site when on 6/29/18.
Well, yeah, she was fired that day because you get.
Oh, she was fired that day.
Yeah.
All right, now let me think.
I don't think that was a particularly.
And then, listen, I read this off the timeline, so don't think I have some knowledge. I could be wrong here, but that's what I read the sequence was.
Okay, so let's get into Nicki's response via DM. She says, and I quote, "When your ugly ass was 24, you was pushing 30. I'm 34. I'm touching 40. LOL. And what does that have to do with my music? Eat a dick, you hating asshole. Got the nerve to have a Trini flag on your page." That's the thing that these celebs do, right?
Wait, be Trini?
No, not be Trini. These celebs gonna go to your page and pick you apart, huh? She reading a bio?
Yeah.
Wait, she got to get into the fact that there's a Trini flag on the page. But I understand what you're saying. All right, let me see. Got the nerve to have a Trini flag on your page. That's my Nicki voice.
Oh, that's what that
in
was.
this.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing it.
It's
Like
not
that.
far off.
I feel like when she was opening those gifts, this is like the voice that she would have. You must not have heard the pink print. She said that shit like it was ready to die. No, Nikki. No. We haven't. Yeah, you know some. No, listen, because sometimes you meet some fans or you meet an older person and they'll recognize that you're somebody, but they don't know who you are, and they'll be like, "I'm so sorry." They'll apologize for not knowing who you are. I'd be like, "Why are you apologizing? I don't run around expecting everybody to know who I am. Heard Pump It Up, heard Mood Music. Like it's fine. I'm
That's not what you said. You said you haven't heard Pump It Up.
I never understand the celebrities that think everybody should have been up to date on everything that they've done. But okay, pink print. You must not have heard the pink print or pills and potions. Bed of Lies. Save Me. My recent feature with Alicia Keys. Tasha Cobbs. Who the fuck is Tasha Cobbs?
I was gonna ask you. I didn't want to sound misinformed.
Nick. And boy. All right. Savon, find out who Tasha Cobbs is for me. Oh,
She's
Rory.
on Power. That's her maiden name.
Yo, shut up, Rory. Just say you jealous I'm rich, famous, intelligent, pretty, and go. But wait. Leave my balls. Tired of you sucking them.
Yuck.
Why is it that that's the response? Do you think we really are upset that you're rich and famous, or we generally want to hear good music from you?
I think
That young lady's tweet did not sound like she was upset that Nicki Minaj was rich and famous. She sounded like she wanted some different content from her.
Right.
I want to point out to you, and this is one of my favorite parts of this, that first shit I just read was sent at 10:09 p.m.
I'm glad you're bringing up this point because I wanted to bring it up as well.
Then she went and made something to drink.
7 or 8 minutes passed.
Yeah. No. Let's try to figure out what she did. Because you know when you just read somebody, you got to go smoke or something.
Yeah.
She definitely popped a pill after that. That's when I would have popped the pill. I would have went in the bathroom. Yeah. And after
then
you
ran
popped the
out
pill.
and said, and another thing.
One more thing. Yes. So she says, I dropped my album almost 4 years ago. My bad. I'm 35. So, rewind. So,
Let's skip that. Hold on. I don't think it's as funny that she forgot how old she was supposed to be.
He lied.
But
I niggas worship
then
him.
said, my bad.
she tried to casually go back to how old she was. My bad.
My fault, guys.
I'm 35. That's close to the 40.
I forget my age.
I didn't want to validate your argument earlier. She
At
said,
least she apologized.
She said, so at 31, how about you get like me? Question mark.
Wait,
Why-
how's she old? How does she know how old this young woman is?
No, I think she was referring to
No,
it being
she
4
was
years.
referring. Yeah, she was referring to her earlier Foxy Brown math.
Oh, all right. When Foxy got the key. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. How about you get like me? Why don't you ask me how to help you get rich? Been on top, and I ain't going nowhere, ho.
That's all you gotta do is ask her how to get rich.
Don't forget about the emojis.
Oh, yeah, there's a tongue emoji, and there's another yellow face emoji with the tongue out, and then there's another yellow face emoji with the slanted tongue out.
Appropriate. Those are the ones I use when I reply to DMs about how trash the podcast is.
Now, listen, let's forget about whether that young lady was in the right or the wrong. When I say young lady, not Nikki, I'm talking about the young lady.
Well, you don't know. She's still young because she's
I wouldn't-
34, so... Well,
You-
no, she's 35. She could still be a young...
You shouldn't speak to people that way. I mean, that's really it. I don't care where you fall on how you feel about what transpired, what occurred, who was right, the NDA, who did what, who should have said anything, cool class, whatever. You shouldn't just speak to anybody that way. Especially when you're as big and as famous and as powerful as she is. Especially when there's been multiple reports going around for years that is how you speak to people behind the scenes. That's probably what started people being turned off from Nicki Minaj. Not the fact that there was something going on musically, but the fact that, are you just shitting on everybody? There's like mad reports of that. Mm-hmm. So why would you continue it? Why would you not think this young lady would expose that? And does that violate the NDA?
Her replying that way? No, it doesn't.
No,
NDA.
her leaking that DM, the young lady.
Oh, yeah, it does. I mean, I don't know what's in the NDA, but again, back to working with that's private, that's something private with a client. You can't put that out.
I need more information on if this girl was a client, who she worked for, because I don't see anything wrong with what she said.
Right.
It's the same thing many people have said about Nicki Minaj for quite some time now. We just want to see something different. That was my beef with Drake. I want to see something different. Like when you're a fan of somebody, you just want to see different shit from them.
Right.
Well, Nicki's response to, because you're not the first person that said that about her. She claims it's the woman thing, where if a man acted the way she acted, he'd be a boss, quote. But she gets called a bitch for it. And if a man acted that way, he would be a loser to me. He would not be a boss.
And I hate that argument. Men don't run around speaking to other men that way, or they would get the shit beat out of them.
That's because we
like men. The same way there's woman code, there's men code. Men don't speak to niggas like that.
We know there's a line that if crossed, I will be hit.
Right.
Yeah, it's time to activate. I don't understand that. I would like to speak to that young lady, but if she has an NDA, then there's nothing to really speak about.
Yeah.
And when would the NDA get signed if she was fired that day?
Well, she might have signed one before.
Oh, prior to
if you work in that business.
You know, Karen's good. Yeah, everybody got an NDA. Damn, that's fucked up.
Yeah, and you got to think Karen is very calculated and particular about how she is viewed, and she's really good at it. You'd have to think she wouldn't want the same for Nicki.
Right. Right.
So that might cause some tension between you and your employee, to say the least.
But Nicki be in the shade room comments clapping at people.
Of course.
To me, that reeks of pill usage. Because pills make you react and respond to
shit you wouldn't
really
do.
Depends on what pill you're doing, I guess.
Oh, yeah. I've done a bunch of pills. I'm assuming that that's what that is that she's on. And I'm not going to say that it's anything worse. And be clear, I don't know. I don't know shit, but I've done a lot of drugs and it just looks that way to me.
Well, I don't know if that behavior works for our audience. Maybe it does, but as anyone in her inner circle like tapped her and said, yo, you look a little nuts right now. Like, let's kick back on the social media tip. Because this isn't new. This has been going on for years.
People be afraid to speak to people, man. People be afraid to tell somebody that they look nuts because you run the risk of losing your job.
Yeah, but she has to have like a friend that has no dog in the race but friendship, like, and how their friend looks.
I don't know her friends, but if your friends are birds, then they're going to encourage you to look like a bird when you're opening gifts that you can afford. Like, I understand that reaction from opening them bags if you couldn't afford them bags.
Well, maybe it was the gesture.
I'm a smoke.
Listen, if you went to the store and brought back some salt and vinegar chips, I'd be like, yo, thanks, Joe. I can afford a bag of chips, but I'm like, yo, that's nice, man.
You got a good point.
You a good friend.
You make a good point. I never looked at it that way.
I don't know if I'm gonna giggle the way Nicki did on that, but you know,
you'd giggle.
I've giggled before. I'll admit it.